Hello and welcome back to another video review, and today's video is going to be featuring the Smith & Wesson Special Operations Knife. This one comes in two different sizes, the miniature one, which I really like, and the larger version of it. There's a few things I actually do not like about it as well. First off, Smith & Wesson is the king of actually cheap knives. There's a reason why they're not as good as this one right here, which is the Spyderco. But there is a few reasons why those are amazing knives. One of the reasons I like is how easy it opens. All you have to do is to press this button right here and watch your fingers, because it's going to just snap. And it did. It snaps right out of it. Let me show you it again. In some ways this is cool, in other ways it's extremely dangerous. To close it up, you just press this button right here and you force it down, and that's exactly the key here. Be extremely careful with this edge right here. When you press on here, you can get seriously hurt by this knife. This is why this is the king of cheap knives. Now it does have a safety switch right here. When black, safety is on, but be careful, you never know when safety actually fails. So don't ever put your fingers right in this spot. This is the dangerous location. Right now it's locked. Another way for you to open this, when it's opened, is to use this right here, which is extremely dangerous because it will snap out of it. This is why I'm not going to actually go ahead and do this, because the reason for it, as much as it is tempting for you to flick this, it's going to jump. It's really made, this piece is to close it or open it more when it's already opened. Few other handy features of this knife. Very nice grip that is textured, and another thing about this, a place where you can rest this right on you. What I dislike about this knife is how it flings open, which means if it sits in your pocket and accidentally the clip safety is on versus off, it can accidentally do this, which is extremely dangerous. Another reason why this knife is the king of cheap knives is the blade. See, you can still open it like this if you want to. You just have to be careful. What I'm doing is, when I'm opening it, I'm keeping my force on here, because if you don't, it's going to try to snap open much more. Another thing about this is the following. Oh, and I forgot to say, why is this the king of cheap knives? Pretty much the blade. The blade of the Smith & Wesson don't make great guns, they make sucky knives. The blade in itself comes pretty sharp, but don't be fooled. Once the sharpness goes down, it's very hard for you to sharpen this back end. It's like a one-time knife in some ways, but it's going to take a while for this to get unsharpened. It doesn't even say what it's made in. Now, this is actually in other ways, pretty handy and cool knife, but definitely not for special operations. And why would anybody in special operations carry this on them is beyond me. This is miniature size. If you're ex-military, comment right down below. Would you ever carry a Smith & Wesson special operations knife that is this small? And why would you? So yes, what I do love is it comes in 2 different sizes. It has a place where you can put some kind of a handle to this. But when it comes to the ultimate, not ultimate, but one of the better knives out there, better knife companies. And by the way, this thing is sharp, but not in the way you want it to be sharp, so be careful with that. It has regular edge and surrogate edge over here. But it is nothing like this one. You see, this one lacks. It doesn't have the flip to it. You manually flip it. Manually is so much safer than automatic flipper, which is manual automatic actually, since real automatics knives like that are banned in the state of New York. I think they're still banned, the switch knives that can actually do that for real. When you press on the bottom, they flick open. This one does not. It flicks open, but not automatic. This is manually opening it up. What's the difference? Pretty much manual is when you use force to open it. Using force right here to snap it open. Doesn't make it a switchblade. It just makes it a dangerous knife. That's all it does. Now, in terms of sizes, pretty much the same size. This one right here, almost all the same specs in terms of size wise, that is 3 inches. This one is like 2, it's above 3 inches, it's close to 3 inch. The actual blade by itself is 2.5. This blade right here is 3. This is 4 inch. This is about 4 inches as well. They look like they're about the same exact size. This one is gonna take you down about 90 bucks. This one is like 45, which is half the price of this. But you know what? Pay the extra money, get the quality knife. But if you need something that's not gonna attract extra attention, I mean, it looks, when you look at both of those, this is the uglier knife. It really looks like the ugliest one. How ironic, we have the EMS right behind me. And this is the Smith & Wesson Special Operations here. And the difference between them, like real difference between them, comes down to so much. The handle itself, the handle here, not as good. I mean, it's still good grip. I'm not complaining about the grip. You see here moving, I don't know why this thing moves. It's still a good grip. The texture is just what gives it a good grip. Eventually this thing is just gonna, it's just glued in. Probably it's gonna get out eventually. It has been there for a very long time, so I don't know. It seems like it does pass the test of time. But this is like a really cheap one. Cheap knife. Not a bad knife, just cheap. And there's only one flaw in it, like I said. It's not the price. Price is great. It's just the switchblade, which is dangerous. This is a beauty. So, in case you want to go for the special operation one, and even after you heard my warning about it, it's not a bad looking knife. It is fancy, it looks kind of cool, and if you like the switchblade feature of it, which I dislike, then there is not really much bad things about this except the blade by itself. But what can you expect for the price point? You're not paying a lot of money for this. Overall, it's up to you to decide. Let me know in the comments right down below which one you're picking and why. If you did enjoy this channel, see you in the next episode of the Geek Tech Show. You never know what is the next thing that's going to come into this channel next.